He's making a list and checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice.
This does happen sometimes. Now, I'm afraid to say that you have made my naughty list.
Oh, that's terrible. Got a few new folks on the list this week. Welcome, everybody, to the Naughty List, where anything from tacky tunes to questionable holiday treats can find itself in a little bit of Christmas trouble. Now, look, Santa Claus is not the only one making lists around here. We're working on a good one right now, and we're putting all kinds of holiday no-nos on notice. It is Monday, September 29th, 2025. There are 87 days left until Christmas. Do you believe this? Okay, so each Monday until December, we're going to highlight 2 holiday offenders to place on the Christmas Everyday version of the Naughty List. And in December, we're going to release our weekly Nice List every Monday, where we will obviously highlight 2 or more holiday items or characters or songs or whatever we want that fill us with joy. So we're going to do that for the entire, best month of the year, which is obviously December. And if you want to share your naughty or nice list ideas with us, please send those to christmaseverydayshow@gmail.com. We'll share those on the show. Yeah, well, if I don't feel like stealing them, if I don't steal your ideas for myself, which I just do stuff like that. I might be on my own naughty list one of these days. You don't never know. It's crazy. All right. So let's get to it. First up on the naughty list is a Christmas time favorite in a lot of households, really. So there may be a lot of, pushback on this one. But the Elf on the Shelf, you belong on the naughty list for several reasons. All right. First off, kids already have to be good, all the time for their parents all year. And then for Santa Claus, if they want presents for Christmas. Well, along comes the Elf on the Shelf during the Christmas season of 2004. And now there's another set of eyes on the kids. And this one reports directly to Santa. Okay. So, you've got that extra NSA layer of surveillance there during the Christmas season. Now, this precocious little elf shows up in different spots around the house each day during the holiday season. And he basically plays hide and seek with the kids. So it could wind up being anywhere. Which means that, every day parents are agonizing over where in the house to put this little elf that won't be too conspicuous, but is also going to be easy enough for the kids to see it, so they'll be sure to know that they're being spied on. It's shameful. And also, you may, to that note, you may think that there are plenty of those spots around your house to, quote unquote, hide this elf. You find out after about a week that it's going to be a lot harder than it looks. You start running out of places to hide this thing out in the open real soon. So, yeah, it doesn't take too long. And of course, there are rules to the Elf on the Shelf. The elf doesn't acquire its Christmas magic until it's been, quote unquote, adopted or bought, and until it's also been named. So you have to name it after you bring it home, then it's got the Christmas magic. Also, you can't touch the elf. If you touch the elf, it loses its Christmas magic altogether. But the kids can talk to the elf. I'm sure the adults can too. When they find it, they can talk to it and then tell it how good they've been and what they'd like for Christmas and so on. And then at nighttime, after everybody goes to bed, the elf magically flies back to the North Pole. They had this long conversation with Santa Claus about how good the kids have been and, how clean everybody's keeping the house and, stuff like that. So, and then the elf is back the next morning. Well, it seems pretty harmless, doesn't it? Well, it is, but one really needs to look no further for just outright debauchery than the pictures that folks take of this elf in compromising positions on social media. It is shameful. I'm just going to leave that there. Now, look, that's not the elf's fault. I get that, but I still have to ding it because, it's conducting a bunch of surveillance at the same time. Now, I think the Elf on the Shelf started out as a really good concept. It gives you an extra little Christmas buddy and, little playmate, somebody you can talk to, sends messages to Santa Claus. It all sounds great. But to me, it just adds too much stress and, another layer of oversight to what could already be a potentially stressful holiday season. Too many eyes on you equals a very, very tense life. And for that reason, Elf on the Shelf, you made the list, buddy. Anyway, next on the list is, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first mention of any characters from Christmas Vacation. But I can assure you, these two belong on the naughty list. Todd and Margot. Their last name is Chester. It's Todd and Margot Chester. Look, is there any more of a yuppie couple than this one? I mean, really, do they just embody the 80s, yuppie couple better than anybody else you've ever seen? Maybe. With their Lincoln town car and their expensive wardrobes, and they have this high-priced, super sleek silver stereo system up in the bedroom, and, no kids, of course, and they just got these real snooty attitudes. I've got a question. Why do they live in the suburbs? Really? Why are they out in the suburbs? No, I have another question. Wouldn't they fit in much better in the city? It really seems like that they would. I'm going to tell you, with those, matching silver sweatsuits, they don't belong in a neighborhood where everybody else is probably cutting their own grass. I guarantee you, Todd is not cutting the grass every weekend. And I know everybody loves the back and forth when she says, "And why is the stereo wet, Todd?" And he replies, "I don't know, Margot." I can tell you right now, that's not a very happy couple if they talk to each other like that all the time. They're just not happy. They don't like each other. And they didn't even bother to put up a Christmas tree. They're sitting at dinner and they're having dinner at Christmas Eve and they're saying, "Where would we even get one?" I know it's so cliched and everything. And where would we even get one on Christmas Eve? And then all of a sudden, the one that Clark's cutting down pops in through the window and snags the blinds and rips those out. And they're just, totally perplexed. They didn't even put up a Christmas tree. They were having that very conversation when they was like, "Where are we going to get one on Christmas Eve?" They're no good. Really, they belong in the city in a high-rise condo where they can look down their snooty, slick noses at the entire city and just wallow in their own superiority complexes. I said it. Todd with your slicked back hair and Margot with your just snooty attitude. Okay, you two are officially on the list. I'm done with both of you. I think that's it. I think that does it for this week. So we have the Elf on the Shelf and we have Todd and Margot. Full disclosure, they are part of my favorite parts of the movie, just the interactions that they have with the Griswolds and just being so gross about everything. I sort of enjoy it, but they're on the naughty list anyway. So please check in with us next Monday for our next episode of the Naughty List. And if you would please make sure to catch our regular Christmas Everyday episode this Friday. And if you'll send us your naughty or nice recommendations to christmaseverydayshow@gmail.com, you can believe that we're going to have a discussion about it. All right, that does it. Until next Monday, please try to stay off the naughty list. And Merry Christmas.